Yeah. Like these are the things, right? I mean, this is the things that we see and we say. But the age of us on the outside is a reflection of our body's ability to regenerate ourselves on the inside too. Your skin's health on your body, your grain, the patterns of aging on the outside reflect how we are aging on the inside. Because your body is on a regeneration pattern at all times. It's trying to regenerate every organ, and they're on a turnover scale. Like the liver regenerates itself. If you can remove the problem from the liver, it can be 70% destroyed, and sure enough, it'll regrow itself all the way back to normal in about 2 to 3 years. The slowest regenerating organ is the brain and spinal cord. That nerve system that we have doesn't regenerate very well. So that's the state of the union. That's a better understanding of our metabolism. And now I want you to know where you're at, because I know you came down here. If you allow the person sitting next to you to drag you here, right? This guy's already making us run in place, man. I'm not sure about this, dude. But here you are. You allowed them to come bring you here because you have a why. What is it? What are you curious? What are you seeking? What do you want for your life? Because the vision I have for this office and for every patient interaction I have is to improve their quality and quantity of life, to give their bodies the ability to heal. And so this office is here to provide a opportunity to be a beacon or a lighthouse to the tri-state area so people can understand that there is a different system. You can opt out of that healthcare system and into a different system that guarantees you better results. And most people don't know that exists around here. And we need to change that. Because how many people do you know are sitting around with diseases and dysfunctions that they don't really think can be helped? They have problems that they don't think are hope. They don't have any hope. One of the biggest deficiencies in America isn't just good, healthy fats and nutrition, it's hope. One of the persons, Emily, if you would you stand up and just wave at everybody? Can I ask you a couple of questions? This is the time where, this is one of the things. So many people hear the limitations of chiropractic and things. So Miss Emily, we were just laughing on Monday about how far she's come. And so would you tell everybody just a minute or so about what brought you into the office and what happened and where you're at?
Well, I've had 4 back operations and I've had both hips replaced. And 6 months ago, I walked in this door. I couldn't hardly walk at all. And my daughter told me, "Yeah, you need to go down there." Now, mind you, I said 6 months. The other day, in 2 days, I put out 37 bags of mulch. I couldn't have done that. I mean, I'm down on my knees and hands and knees, and I can get up, no issues. I'm almost totally pain-free.
Thank you for actually being willing to share that, because so many people see the limitation. Like, we don't even tell people about good stuff because we think, one, maybe they can't afford it. Number 2, they've had surgeries. They can't be getting adjusted. How many people have heard, well, I've had back surgery, I can't be adjusted? Yeah, right? Or I've got this, or I've been through that. So we don't even try. So that hope deferred makes the heart sick. And yes.
That's one reason, and I was very skeptical for that very thing you just said, because of the surgeries that I had. And I'm like, can he help me?
Absolutely.
So when my daughter brought me down here and we did the x-rays and you talked to me about it, said, yes, I can help you. And I'm very thankful for you and Anna and this office.
Well, thank you very much, because one of the biggest things is that the only reason we were able to help you is because we weren't treating your pain. We were dealing with what was causing it. And our whole healthcare system is dealing with the symptom. We have this world that God created, and it's built on the law of cause and effect. And if all you're treating is the effects, the symptoms, you're never going to fix the cause. And so we just have to use regular logic. And the thing I love best about things for people like Emily is that she has a new vision for her life. We were just talking about, now we're going to switch gears. We're going to go into nutrition. We're going to go into exercise. And because she knows she can do it now. I mean, she could put out 37 bags of mulch in a day. I mean, you can move, right? And so now we have a strategy that created success, and now we continue to have more success, and that changes her vision. And everyone, we have to have a new vision. We need to utilize, by opting out of the sick care system and into a real healthcare system, we change the law of supply and demand. The law of supply and demand. If we demand different healthcare, they must supply it. And that's what we want to do. And it is the 5 essentials of health. The reason that we have these posters here is that each one of these represents one of the essentials to health, meaning that you are a whole human being. Chiropractic is defined as the philosophy, science, and art of things natural. Then there's a colon, and it says a system of adjusting the segments of the spine for the correction of the cause of dis-ease. Very different, but you leave a lack of harmony in Latin, dis-ease. We have this lack of harmony. You leave it there long enough, sure enough, you get rid of the hyphen, it becomes disease. But that is the reality. We are here to remove the interference to the expression of your life. Because we all have fancy terms like, well, God didn't make junk, but, well, when you're eating Yoo-hoo and Twinkies, God didn't make the junk, but boy, your body's made out of it because that's all you gave it to be made of. And so we have to be realizing that the fact is we have to give our body the building blocks of life to regenerate itself so that the body can heal. So this mindset that is also handed down. Who here has heard the story of, well, mama had it, I'm going to have it, daddy, my granddad had it, right? We all hear these things. And so our mindset is affecting us, right? Our body, interference to the human expression of life is caused through thoughts, traumas, and toxins, the 3 T's, that affect your physical, chemical, and emotional health. And when your physical, chemical, and emotional health is all being fed a message of emotions, of inevitability, the lack of hope, that's how you get that bad tape playing. Sorry, wait, let's go with recording or MP3, right? No, wait, most of us are older, so we can say tape, right? Don't know what I'm talking about. So the tapes that people are playing in their head are just over and over again. What's the use? It runs in my family. Well, most of the time, nobody runs in their family, right? And that's the reality of what happens. And so the American Research Foundation says that the research shows that 80% of people's thoughts are negative, and 95% of people's thoughts are repetitive. So we're repetitively replaying the negative things in our head all day long. And then the only other tape that most people play is that it's, well, mom had it, dad had it, so I'm going to change a few things. And I'm going to do better. It's not going to happen to me as early, right? But it's still my genetics, so I can't escape, right? It's still my genetics. So there's still this mind down, this mental thought saying the inevitability of it. Well, according to this guy's name's David Sinclair. He is the leading researcher in genetics at Harvard. So this guy's a tenured Harvard research professor who's doing studies on mice. I heard about him through somebody because one of his research studies, he went in and pinched nerves in these mice and then looked at the age of the genetic changes that happen in those mice, and they aged 30% faster by pinching nerves. So, I mean, this, of course, chiropractor hears about it and like, gosh, this guy's proven our whole theory right here at Harvard that even our genetics changes when you have pinched nerves in your body. And so this guy, David Sinclair, it's a great podcast. He's on Huberman Labs, which is another guy from Stanford University that I suggest you listen to. Stanford University, Huberman Labs. And he's interviewing David Sinclair. And he says that 80% of the genetics that we express and inherit, the outcomes are determined 80% of the time by the environment we put the genetics in. So think about this. Every single cell of your body has the same chromosomes. But yet parts are kidney, part are liver, part is skin, but they all have the same chromosome. So in our development in the womb, certain chemicals in the nervous system develops first, the heart forms, and then the nervous system piggybacks along with all the blood vessels to every organ and tissue of the body throughout that embryo, guiding the development of it. And then certain parts differentiate into the different parts of our body, but they all have the same chromosomes. If you took the DNA that's inside of our bodies, took it out of all of the cells, it would go to the moon and back 32 times. Because each chromosome stretched out is 6 feet. That's how much DNA. So it is packed in there, microscopically tight, held together with proteins and wound together, and only certain genes and certain organs are allowed to be read and wrote, and that's why it becomes skin versus liver. Well, the environment that we put all of those cells in determines how those genes get read, right? It's like the player there's a recording, there's that recording, but what part of the recording is getting played in each individual cell is determined by our thought life. So literally, our brain is telling us whether or not we're going to get disease or not. So let's give ourselves a different thought. Let's say to ourselves, you know what? I'm enough. I can do this. I mean, what about like, now is enough? I was born for a time just like this. It's time that I changed my family's legacy. Because each one of you are here, you have this information that we're about to talk about. And if you implement a different thought life and a different action life, you are going to put your genetics in a different environment, which will change 80% of the genetic inheritance that you give to your children and your grandchildren. Because until we are raising generations that have opted out of that system, we're not growing them in the womb. Many of our mothers are sick already when they're growing babies in toxic environments. We want to raise a new generation that knows this information and has implemented it. So our children and our grandchildren, I don't worry about my kids having the same things that I grew up. I'm drinking Mountain Dew and eating Pop-Tarts and Now-Relators and stuff. I mean, kind of the 80s, y'all. I mean, we all remember the 80s, right? I mean, it was wild. And so now we want to provide ourselves, my kids have this much better environment. So we want peace management. So our thought life should be during the next 30 days challenge, which begins next Tuesday. Because some of us, y'all, are going to be ordering supplements and checking things out. And we want to start next week, so we always run out of supplements. And if we have to order for some of you, we'll get them in by next Tuesday. So next Tuesday begins the 30-day challenge that goes along with this makeover. And we want you to commit to reading 10 pages of a self-help book a day or the Bible, whichever one fits you the best. Then the other question, we're about to pass around a sign-up sheet for Transcendental Meditation. There is a research project that's been going on through the United States government, and they're showing 50% reductions in post-traumatic stress syndrome, PTSD, and it's gone so well that it's now free for veterans to learn Transcendental Meditation. It is the best form, the most researched form of meditation, improving brain mapping studies, and has the most amount of cardiac research, reducing cardiovascular disease. So that's why they're doing it. And so tell your friends and family. We're going to pass this research, this sign-up sheet around for an introductory lecture. The lady will come down out of Chattanooga, and she'll just do an intro lecture. And if you decide you want to ask her to learn, she'll teach you, but you have to set that up at a separate time. But we want people to have the availability to know that's there. So here we go. What about the interference? Where is it coming from? Number one cause of chemical interference to the human body is from our food sources. It's frankenfood. Folks, the SAD diet, 73% of the stuff that's inside of our grocery stores is ultra-processed junk. It's not my opinion. This is Dr. Robert Lustig, a great book, Metabolical. The other book that is, I want to go ahead and put this out there. This is the book that I built this off of, called Radical Metabolism. This book is amazing, and I would suggest 10 pages a day. You'll crush this book this month. 10 pages a day. Most self-help books are 250 pages. So you can literally crush 10 pages a day. That's all it is. You can crush one of these. And so you'll learn, it'll help save and change your life. So many people think about their metabolism. Well, let's ask the crowd. Who here has made changes to their life and done well for a little while, but as soon as they stopped doing everything exactly right, all the weight came back? Raise your hand. Yeah. All right. Pretty typical, because 95% of fad diets fail. Why? They're missing one of the key ingredients, which is healthy fat. Folks, without healthy fat, there is no chance that your metabolism is going to be healthy. As a matter of fact, every single cell of your body is made of fat. We've demonized them. And it's not that fat is bad, it's that bad fat is bad. Sick fat makes you sick. And fat doesn't make you fat. As a matter of fact, essential, this is a cross section of a cell. This is the phospholipid bilayer, meaning those little balls on either end are phosphorus, and then all the stuff in between is fat, omega fats. And that makes up the lining of every single cell in your body. So if you're only giving your body trans fats and bad rancid fats, then every single cell of your body is not a fluid membrane allowing things in and out. Instead, the toxins get stuck on the inside because your body has metabolism, has waste products, and it needs to get out of the cell. But your body needs nutrition, and it needs oxygen to get into the cell. And that's every cell of your brain. Your brain is 90% fat. Every nerve of your body, not every nerve, most of the nerves are lined with myelin. That's healthy fat. Only pain fibers are not lined with fat, and they're the slowest signaling fibers in the human body. So where do you get some healthy fats from? These are and feel free to take pictures. If you're one of those people who actually reviews them, please, this is one of the slides. This is healthy sources, vegetarian sources of healthy fats, things like flax seeds and chia seeds, spirulina, spinach. I love spirulina's and spinach's ratios of healthy fat of omega-3 to 6. Because most food in grocery stores, they take out the omega-3 fat because it has a very short shelf life, and they leave in the omega-6 fat. So most humans are 20 times more omega-6 in their body than they are omega-3. And that ratio should really be 1-to-1, no more than twice as much omega-6 to omega-3. But what about other sources? What about our oils? And so oils, olive oil is the best oil that we can be using if it's from a single source. And you've got, and again, caveat is all these things that I'm talking about would be best done organic. Then the olive oil, though, only goes up to 350 degrees before it aromatizes and becomes cancerous. So we don't cook with olive oil over 350. Avocado oil and grapeseed oil are the oils that you use when you go over 350. And so those have a higher smoke point up to 475. And so those are the healthy omega ratio oils and the temperatures that you use them in. Because our weight loss becomes about our hormones. And our hormones are built out of cholesterol and fat, and vitamin D helps fold these all into the hormones like cortisol, progesterone, testosterone, estrogen. They're all made out of cholesterol. So we need these healthy fats in our body. But it's not just about those hormones. It's about some that you might not have heard of. Leptin and ghrelin. For many people, never heard of these. Leptin is the hormone that is secreted by our brown healthy fat that is layers around all of our organs that acts as insulation and is literally an endocrine organ. It signals leptin hormone and creates it in the bloodstream to go to the brain and say, stop eating. I've got enough nutrition. I'm satisfied. Ghrelin is produced by the stomach. And the stomach signals to the brain, hey, feed me, feed me. And unfortunately, leptin insensitivity is very much like insulin insensitivity. When the body gets too much fat, it sends out so much of that hormone that the brain becomes insensitive to it. Not to mention that ghrelin is signaling, because most people's hormones are off in this ratio because they're not, I guess let me rephrase this. The face of starvation is not the skinny person who's emaciated and sick. The face of starvation today is obesity. That person is starving for nutrition, and their body is signaling, feed me, give me calories, but it keeps getting calories that it can't use, so it stores it in fat and says, feed me, because it still needs the nutrition to survive and rebuild on. So for many of us, we need to look at changing our metabolisms through changing these hormones. And so the whole 5 essentials of health, this is what we're designed to do. And so we're going to utilize one of those essentials called exercise right now. Let's all stand back up. All right, so this time we're going to be using our hands, and we're going to pretend that we're doing punches. You may not punch the person who brought you here. And we're going to be going as fast and as hard as we can at 90%. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, go. As fast and as hard as you can. Remember, you're trying to get to 90% output. And stop. And go. Go, 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 go. And stop. Go, 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 go. As fast as you can, fast as you can, fast as you can. And go. Rest. Woo. All right. See? Have a seat. It's not about exercise that you got to put on different shoes and you got to go to the gym and you got to do this or that. You can reach 90% output right here in this small area with a bunch of people, right? So, most people will do better staying on their normal routines and changing their nutritional content. But some people have been eating the way that I'm going to describe for many years and may need a reset that's a little bit more advanced. And that's called intermittent fasting. So intermittent fasting utilizes your sleep window to get to at least a 16 hours of fasting and 8 hours to eat. An even better time window that I'm going to graduate into soon will be the 20 hours of fasting and 4 hours of eating per day. Right now, 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I do the 16-8 window because it fits my life. The rest of the days of the week, taking the kids to school and doing different things, I'm with them and we eat together and share that experience. But one of the biggest things is that's the time window. But one of the most important things is how you break fast. Because your content of your food is very important to whether or not you're going to be on an insulin roller coaster and a blood sugar roller coaster. So we need to break the fast with healthy protein and healthy fats. Because fat has the least amount of insulin needed to digest it. So your insulin and blood sugar levels will go up very, very shallow. And protein is much less than carbs. So when you break the fats with protein and carbs, we affect the metabolism positively. When we break the fast with protein, we don't want to go over 21 grams of protein. Because once you go over 21 grams of protein in a meal, you begin to break it down into sugar. So let's take a question right here. Does anybody know how many how many essential fatty acids there are? You have to get them from your nutrition. You cannot get them and remake them. There's 3. 3 essential fatty acids. How many essential amino acids are there? That means protein. You have to get them from your nutrition. There's 13. Say again. 13. We're very close. I mean, the thing is, 13 amino acids that you have to get from your nutrition. Now, how many essential carbohydrates are there? 0. None. You can make every single carb you need from protein and fat. So when they say you gotta have enough bread every day, they're lying. It's about selling you bread. And it's about helping make you sick. And it's about making money. Because the fact is that if you have too much protein, your body just immediately turns it into sugar, and that's a carbohydrate. It can build anything else it wants to. And so one of the things that is very important is quality matters. You are made out of whatever that animal ate. So one of our partners is Iron Roots Pastures, and Miss Janet is here with us today, and she's where'd she go? Hey, there she is. There's Miss Janet. Yeah, exactly. So Miss Janet is here. They're our local 200-acre regenerative organic farm. They provide, and I've had some of them whole chickens. We're getting into parts of chickens now, and they've gotten their processing ready. Eggs. They're having beef. They're going to have pork. And so if you want to know something about better quality and start to get onto that train, that's the person to talk to locally. And we're going to be a drop point. I don't know if we've decided on a date. Okay.
Right here.
Date's right here. Yeah, she's got all the stuff. We're going to have a drop point right here, a refrigerator, that they're going to bring your orders to. You order and pay for everything online. Orders delivered here. You pick it up when you're coming to get adjusted. Very convenient because more people need this kind of things. Now, I'll take a moment here. Miss Pam is, I don't know if everybody got introduced. She's here from Norwex Cloths because we're going to be detoxifying your homes. She has cloths that you don't need cleaning products with. It's bacterial, it kills everything, and that's what we clean a lot of our house with. Miss Anita's here from doTERRA because the essential oils that we use on our bodies and in our humidifiers, things like that around the house, and that we put in the cleaning products that we use. And then my wife, there she is. I looked for you at the station. This is my wife, Megan, and she's here with Beauty Counter. And Beauty Counter is an amazing company that just really simplified things for us. And I'll talk more about that when we get there. And it's just safe and non-toxic products. And so, folks, this max living approach is the opt-out. It is a way to implement, and we want to get back to the basics. More food, by God, less processed food, less added sugars. We need to realize that, I mean, look at this. I love this. I stole this from a buddy of mine named Dan. Isn't that the truth, though? I mean, these diets, I mean, they have us that food's the enemy, and that, you know, my habits are bad, and it's all negative, and you know, it's always measuring ourselves and judging ourselves. When we're trying to have health and we are trying to heal, we are focused on the positive nature that food is our fuel. We don't rebuild ourselves, right? You can go a couple of weeks without food, and that's it. You can go only a few days, approximately 7 days without water. You can only go 6 minutes without oxygen. And there's one essential to life that we don't talk enough about. You can't go a single second without your nervous system functioning. As soon as a human being is brain dead, they're dead. No matter how long they keep them alive on machines, that human being is no longer expressing life. And so one of the things that we have to fix is so that we can create this cycle of absorbability is the liver and the gallbladder. And so when we think about this, look at the list of things: hypothyroidism, constipation, acid reflux, inability to lose weight, irritability, dry skin, all signs that your liver and gallbladder are toxic. And so one of the biggest things is that we need more foods. The average person should produce 1.5 quarts of bile. So what happens is, the moment food touches your mouth, your brain is aware of how much sugar, fat, and protein is in it. Your vagus nerve signals your liver, your gallbladder, and your stomach. It tells them all what to do, how much acid to produce, how much the pancreas should make of protease and lipase, the enzymes that break down fat and protein. Amylase is the enzyme that's made in your saliva. So as soon as your body tastes that sugar, that's why you start salivating right now, I'm talking about, right? And that's the amount of enzymes that you need to break down the carbohydrates. But then your liver concentrates bile, which is like a soap. It goes in, and at the exact moment that your stomach opens up and releases all of the food into the small intestine, your pancreas and your gallbladder contract and secrete the enzymes to digest food. So if you aren't producing, average person, 1.5 quarts a day. People who are overweight or obese only produce 1/2 quart a day. That's the influence it has. And that stagnation in backflow causes liver and gallbladder dysfunction. That's why in school they taught us the rhyme was, for gallbladder, you have somebody who has back pain, it's female, fluffy, and 40. Refer them out. Oftentimes it's their gallbladder. That's what they were trying to teach us. But that's literally the rhyme. And it's so ridiculous because the body should be healthy and we should know what's causing our body to not produce enough bile. And it's the absence of these foods. So these foods are concentrators and encourage our body to produce more bile and helps our liver gallbladder. But so many people don't get enough of those nutrients. If you aren't eating and haven't been eating organic and a plant-based diet and you haven't been doing this for at least 5 to 7 years, then your body is deficient in those things. And then if you've had your gallbladder removed, this is the supplement that will be your solution. Because it gives you all of that list in a supplement form, taken 30 minutes prior to a meal, and then it will help you break down the foods and have what you need. Because if you don't get all of those things, you become deficient in vitamin A, D, E, and K. All of your fat-soluble vitamins. If you don't have a gallbladder, women just, as they age, are just getting more and more deficient in all of those. And so all of your hormones are made out of vitamin D and cholesterol. So now we're not making our hormones right. And we see how the body slides down this slope. So let's talk about the core plan of eating and advanced plan of eating. In Max Living, we have, so by the way, that supplement's called Liver Gallbladder. It's on the order form. Supplements are 10% off tonight only. If you're going to buy the bundle because you're going to do the 30-day challenge, we know that that's 3 items and it's a good bit. So we want to give you 15% off on those. And that only happens at these workshops so that you can afford what you need to get the most out of the 30-day challenge. So let's talk about the nutrition. We're going to be passing around the sign-up sheet for the 30-day challenge here in just about 2 minutes. And so the core plan is choosing organic when possible. If not, ewg.org. Write that down. ewg.org is the dirty dozen and the clean 15. Those are the 12 safest foods to buy commercially, and the 12 nastiest and the 15 cleanest. We choose our animal products naturally. We are selecting only nice, good grains, things like quinoa, aramuth, kamut, millet, buckwheat, einkorn wheat. These are all healthy products or healthy grains. We're opting for fruits and vegetables that are instead of refined grains. And most importantly, we're trying to eat and enjoy life. The core plan is how we could all eat more plant-based things instead of processed food. That's the core plan, getting out of the refined grains. Yes, sir. Question?
Yeah, I was going to just tell everybody that there's an EWG app that you can get for free off the internet.
Absolutely. You can download it on your phone, and it's called Healthy Living. And then there's 2 apps, actually, Healthy Living and Food Scores. Thank you for reminding me. So the advanced plan. And by the way, this is detailed in our Align Your Health book. And it's also detailed in we have some mini books, they're called mini books. And we have a nutrition mini book that is like the Cliff Notes. And it only has, then we have a recipe Cliff Note book. But the Align Your Health book breaks down the advanced plan, the core plan, and has probably 100 different recipes in there. So that's also available tonight. The advanced plan, which is what we're going to be doing for the next 30 days, is where it's the core plan, but we're taking out all the grains, period. if you have any of the things that make you susceptible or you're suspecting a metabolic disorder, or you have that diagnosis, you need to go directly to the advanced plan. And the advanced plan, we're all going to do for 30 days, and it allows only sour grapefruit, lemons, limes, and berries. Any of the berries. That's it for fruit. Vegetables, we get rid of all the high glycemic index vegetables like beets and carrots and things, and we're eating off the medium and low glycemic index vegetables. So that's the advanced plan. So let's talk about our grocery store tips. How do you shop for this, right? Some of us need to go home and throw away a lot of stuff. Because if it's there, it's gonna happen, right? I mean, that's just the inevitability of it. And so cleaning out our pantries, that's another reason that we want to wait until Tuesday to get started, is because we want everyone to have time to clean out and then plan and schedule. One of the biggest things that we need to do is plan our meals. We have to know what we're going to eat, shop for what we're going to eat, and leave off all the stuff that we graze on. So that's number one. Number two is when you go into the store, you only shop around the perimeter. We walk around the edges of the store looking for more products without labels. This is God's fast food, right? An orange is already packaged. I mean, Granny Smith apple already has a wrapper. So does a red apple and all these things. But we're going to be on the advanced plan. Granny Smith apples, sour grapefruit, lemons, limes, berries. We want to not look at labels for the calories and the amount of sodium and things, maybe if that's an issue for you, but we're looking at labels for ingredients. The top 5 ingredients are listed in descending order. So it can be shiny and amazing, and it can be the best organic quinoa chip that it lights your world on fire. But then the first ingredient's corn. And the second ingredient is wheat flour. And then the next ingredient is tapioca starch. And then the next ingredient, the last one that means anything, right before that 2% or less thing, is now that's quinoa. Now you know there's very little quinoa in it. It's mainly all of that other stuff. And so the fewer ingredients, the better. We want to look for the natural ingredients. Hey, if you can't pronounce it, don't buy it. If that ingredient list is 50 things long and you're like, no, don't buy it. Put it back. Just because it says it's organic doesn't mean it's healthy. It doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that it's not high in sugar and all of these things. So let's give you some of the code words to the things and this is very essential. Write these down. Any word that ends in OSE is a sugar. So if it ends in glucose, galactose, maltose, fructose, all of the words that again end in OSE are sugars. So you want less of those on the label. Any word that ends in hydrolyzed or autolyzed means it's MSG. So autolyzed yeast extract, hydrolyzed, whatever. If it says that name, you know it has MSG. Why is that important? Because MSG is a known obesogen and a neurotoxic ingredient. And goodness gracious, if you take a child that's on the spectrum and you just remove dyes and colorings and MSG out of their diet, watch their brain change. That is awesome. Just by removing Blue Lake 50, Red 20, and all these really toxic dyes and getting rid of MSG, their behavior will change. Sweeteners, artificial sweeteners like saccharin and aspartame. If you see the word hydrogenated or partially hydrogenated, that means trans fat. Okay? So what do we need besides healthy fats, right? We're using olive oil, avocado oil, rapeseed oil. Those are our main oils. Now we need to give our body and saturate our bodies with the amount of things that it needs to replace those cell membranes of every cell, organ, and tissue in our body. And that's this list. These are the things that most people are deficient in. So again, if you haven't been eating the way that I've been talking and doing these plant-based diets, then these are the things that are in this supplement that is part of our It's part of the bundle. It's called Cell Repair. And this Pure Path, for many of you, you've been to a lot of these workshops, and you know that usually our supplements are labeled Max Living. We are changing that, and we are going one level above. All of our supplements are 95% bioavailable, meaning absorbable, which most people can't say. But now we're going one level better and saying now they're a regenerative organic farm source. So that's this Pure Path. So pretty soon we're going to have the best supplements on the planet. And so this is, and that means all of them are going to be transitioned to this Pure Path label. And so this Cell Repair gives you all of the selenium, the alpha-lipoic acid, the glycine, and the ashwagandha, and the different things that are in there, the botanicals that you need to repair your cells. The Pure Path protein. So 30-day challenge, either intermittent fasting or one meal replacement a day with the bone broth protein, so that we know you're getting 21 grams of solid, good, healthy protein, and we're reducing your calorie input. I mean, literally, I've seen plenty of people lose 25 or 30 pounds in this 30 days. And it's just, and that's the advanced plan and doing the meal replacement. If you want to up your game, do the intermittent fasting. I'm going to be being on the advanced plan and doing the intermittent fasting 3 days a week. And that's what you had tonight. If you thought that was tasty, well, that's what you can. That was made with real milk. You could change your base into coconut milk or to soy if it's organic. Prefer not the soy. Max Fit is the last supplement that gives you basically the energy that you need to in recovery. So that L-carnitine gives you energy during your workouts. The creatine, and there's one more that I'm forgetting. The creatine and glutamine give you the recovery after your workouts. And then the ashwagandha is in there to reduce stress, because it's a thermogenic, adaptogenic herb that helps reduce the stress response. Because the higher stress that we have, the higher our cortisol levels are, and that cortisol hormone negatively affects insulin. It negatively affects our cholesterol. It negatively affects most things in the chronic form. So that's the bundle. It's the 15% off tonight, and it's on your order forms if you decide that this is what you want to do. This is your 30-day challenge. The sign-up sheet's going to start coming around, and it's on the back of your handouts, where protein shake and supplements, the advanced plan when we are eating, half your body weight in ounces of water. So I weigh less than 200 pounds, but I just round up, and so I drink at least 100 ounces of water a day. Half an ounce per pound of body mass, because we have to be flushing the body. Otherwise, our body on the inside is like a stagnant pond instead of a flowing body of water. Working out 5 days a week, and it's those short, intermittent, burst-like training. You don't have to do a CrossFit. If you already walk, take times where you go all out and then slow back down. If you're an elliptical person, do that when you're on your elliptical. If you're on the treadmill, use your treadmill. We just want 90% output and back down in cycles of maybe even just a minute. Go really hard for a minute, then slow down for a minute. Hard for a minute, or you could do maxt3.com. That website is designed by a chiropractor who works with Team USA Wrestling. This guy is amazing. His name is Dr. Fred Roberta, and he designed that workout system. You're committing to your chiropractic adjustments and your home care. If you're on maintenance care, that's once a day home care and whatever your schedule is. If you're on corrective care, then your corrective care schedule and twice a day home care. No alcohol and cheap meals, and 10 pages of reading for 30 days. Starts next Tuesday, so that we can get the orders in. So we've now been going for about 40-something minutes, so let's stand up and move our bodies again. All right, back to the foot fires. We're doing the foot fires. Let's make our bodies move. Remember, it's 90% out. Don't hurt yourself. You got a problem, just don't hurt yourself. But yet, in 3, 2, 1, go. Move feet. Move feet. Stop. Go, 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 go. And stop. Go, 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 go. All right, we're going to keep going for a second here. not gonna be 20, but it's gonna be longer. And stop. Right? And just a second ago, you had bleach on and you were tired. And now you're good to go. Right? That's oxygen and nutrition and laughter, all good for the soul and body. Let's have a seat. Chemical interference, where's it coming from? How are we polluting ourselves? Well, we need to know where those, excuse me. We need to know where those hidden endocrine disruptors and obesogens are. These are classifications of chemicals that alter our body's function, literally. Things like BPA, we know, but we're getting many chemicals. So I want to talk about the fact that food packaging lining, these act as an estrogen receptor agonist and androgen receptor, meaning they attach to them. These receptor agonists shift stem cells, disrupting their differentiation towards adipose tissue, meaning literally these chemicals cause your body to create more fat. And as hormones, they disrupt functions, estrogen disruptors, and they're very much included in the classification of why we're seeing more breast cancers. So none of you should be getting your water from plastics. You shouldn't be consuming anything from plastics. Bottled water is one of the demons that is causing estrogenic, that's high, you hear of, estrogen receptor positive cancers. Plastics, folks. Yeah. And so it's that where are our toxic top 5? Unfiltered water, frankenfood, which we've talked a lot about, the household cleaners, cosmetics, and aluminum and heavy metals. So improperly filtered water. Number 1, if you're not using stage 3 filter or better and filtering into glass or into stainless steel, you're polluting yourself. Some people love Berkey. There's a lot of those are sitting on top of your countertop. For me, our countertops for 4 kids have one on them. And so we choose to filter through the refrigerator and have a really good filter. And so what are the things that we're getting? Things like unintended byproducts like arsenic and pharmaceutical drugs, right? Our municipal water supplies cannot filter fast enough for all the drugs that people are flushing down the toilet and urinating and peeing out. I mean, literally, they can't filter for those things. So we're seeing these antibiotic resistance also aggravated by that. So get a filter, period. This is another source of frankenfood. That's farm-raised food. So even our farm-raised salmon, it has different omega oil content, and it's held in ponds that are created in plastic ponds. And then, so that makes them very toxic in a lot of those estrogen receptors and obesogens, but they're also being fed GMO corn. So even here in the South, right, this is where I'm from, in Eider, I know no fish jump out of the pond and grab an ear of corn and fall back in, right? They are not designed to be eating corn. It's just not that way, but that's what they're being fed. All of it's fish junk food. And so that's full of pesticides and herbicides like Roundup. And then it's being concentrated into the fish, and we eat the fish. It's called biomagnification. Horrible. That's the only frankenfood I want to touch base on there. What about, does anybody have any question about, I want to stop and pause and say, does anybody have a question about the core plan, the advanced plan, or farm-raised protein? Because that goes into our cows. Do we really want to be eating things that stand around in their own poop and eat so much soy and corn that their stomachs will swell and die if they weren't on a constant barrage of antibiotics? Because that's what commercial beef is. So we love people that's Iron Roots pasture. I mean, this is our local place. This is what we need to be buying. Anybody have a question? Awesome, we're all going to be perfect. Yes?
Not about that. I just want to know what kind of water filter you said.
They're stage 3 or better. And there's tons of them out there. So get whatever works for your, will fit your refrigerator or fit your sink. Yes, sir.
I want to point out that if they don't deliberately add something to a product, they don't have to mention it in the ingredients. American rice has a high percentage of arsenic. American farm-raised chicken with the breasts like Dolly Parton, they don't add arsenic to the chicken food, but they cover the floor with it to take care of insects and stuff.
Sure.
So it's still in the chicken.
Absolutely, and these are the things that we need to notice again while we're buying our meat from her. Household cleaners, how toxic? This is one of the things. Okay, the EPA estimates that indoor air is 5 to 7 times more toxic than outdoor air, and in new construction homes, it's 100 times more toxic than being outside. Right? We all go indoors because the pollen count's high, and we're poisoning ourselves. A lot of it's from the household cleaners that we use. And so that's why, again, the Norwex cloths are here, and then Miss Anita is here with the doTERRA, because there are recipes on ewg.org that you get these apps. Open the app when you get home, scan your cleaners. Just scan the barcode, and it will pull up if your product is in those databases, it'll pull up how toxic it is, it'll pull up how cancerous it is, and how allergic it is. So those are great apps to check your products and then opt out of those products and start making your own. You're going to save tons of money, and we use the doTERRA oils to get the scents that we want inside of our homes. My wife decided to simplify because the label reading on cosmetics, and no, it's not just makeup, guys. We all use cosmetics. It's shampoo, conditioner, lotions. All of those things are considered cosmetics. And so for us, we needed to de-stress from it. And so she went through and did the research about Beauty Counter so that we could buy from a company any product, so that we knew it was safe and non-toxic. Because if I'm going to put that on my 3-year-old little girl, it's going to be safe and non-toxic, right? I mean, this has got to be. I'm doing this for myself, but for my family to raise that next generation. So when we get done and we're going to checkout, a lot of people will be getting supplements and signing up for new patient appointments and things. So we're going to be busy up front, and she'll shift from here and be up front. So how do you want them to interact with things here? Tell them a little bit about if they want to come check things out.
Yeah, awesome, thanks. I love this company, it's amazing, it's so refreshing to be able to just like, hit yes, I want that. Not have to read the label unless you are just curious, right? Beauty Counter has been doing this for 10 years. They were fed up with what was going on in the world, that we are paying good money to slather ourselves in toxins and not care, right? So they started this rigorous thing. They have over 2,800 chemicals that they will never use in their products. And after they've made a product, they even test that.
And as a side note, our government only banned 50, and the European Union's only banned like 1,500. They banned chemicals they're thinking are even possible in the future going to be toxic. Sorry.
No, you're great, thanks. So the whole name Beauty Counter is countering the beauty industry. That's where that came from. They go to DC every year, you have to earn your spot. They've changed laws, they've passed bills. So they're really on a mission to get safer products in the hands of everyone. They've been pioneering this for the last decade. I'll be up helping Anna. These are samples that you feel free to take. If you want to try on some lip gloss, I just ask you to use one of these little wands, trash can right there. If you want to try the mascara, same thing. Otherwise, come play, smell, try it out, rub it on your hand, whatever you want to do. Here's my card, so you can text me, call me, or there's a direct link to my website.
And so that's how you would be able to set up. She has a kit that you can take home and even try stuff out for a little while and bring it back. And you're just using the wands for application and stuff. And so you'll be able to do that tonight. Thank you. Last little classification of the toxins that are passing into our bodies are these aluminums and heavy metals. Because look, aluminum increases estrogen-related gene expression in human breast cancer cells. Aluminum is associated with altered function of the blood-brain barrier and has been associated with poor memory, Alzheimer's disease, headaches, muscle pain, joint pain, depression, asthma, irritable bowel syndrome, and symptoms that can, when people come in contact with aluminum. Now this one right here, okay, passes the blood-brain barrier. Where are some of the sources? This one just flies all over me. Baby formula. Folks, the blood-brain barrier is not fully formed in a baby. And they're putting it in where known toxins, one of the first labeled areas is baby formula. And so, I mean, come on, the audacity of someone to say, I'm going to make a product that's better than breast milk, right? I mean, that your body created. Some people can't, they need the formula, and it shouldn't be contaminated, and they should not be punished, right? I mean, this is just absolutely unthinkable. Baked goods, processed foods, antiperspirants, prescription drugs, vaccinations. This is where I am going to step in and say that aluminum hydroxide is a danger signal chemical. Mercury in thimerosal is the preservative in vaccination. And when you pass through the filtration system of the gut, you jam it straight into an arm, it gets absorbed by the white blood cells, and that aluminum hydroxide is flowing in the blood with the white blood cells, goes through the blood-brain barrier. Another bad neurotoxic substance. One of many reasons why I have issues with our current vaccination schedule. One of the last things here is we start to get into how you implement these things. What's missing for you? As you've been listening, I hope you're picking up on, oh, wait a second, I haven't done that. I have a lot of that. This is about you and you detoxifying your life and understanding that one of the big paradigm mental shifts that we have is we have to get rid of the bad BS, the bad belief system. That stinking thinking that says that I don't have to exercise. Well, I'm sorry, you cannot be metabolically fit unless you are physically fit. Your hormones, your metabolism cannot function properly unless the cardiovascular system is conditioned enough to pump blood to every organ and tissue of your body, delivering the nutrition and the oxygen that you can't live without and cells can't live without for more than 6 minutes. And when a cell, to take it one step further, when a cell is deficient in oxygen for any period of time, it produces lactic acid, which increases the acidic environment, which causes genetic damage, which increases risk of cancer. So if you are deficient in oxygen in your organs because you are unfit, that's one of the reasons that all cancers are skyrocketed when you're obese. Risk of colon cancer, breast cancer, ovarian cancer. So we have to get back to the fact that exercise is essential for health. We love the short duration, high intensity things like we were just doing a few minutes ago, because while you're doing that, you might as well get the benefit of burning off cortisol, which is the stress hormone. And that stress hormone will continue to go up throughout your entire life because we all have stress, right? And it will continue to negatively affect your blood pressure, your platelets, your clotting factors, your cholesterol. It's meant to keep blood sugar in your blood, so it gives you the recipe for heart disease and stroke. It's doing its job. But unless you exercise to 90% output and come back down, so it's like you're winning the fight. Your primitive brain, inside there's a developed part, the frontal cortex, prefrontal cortex, and then there's the primitive brain in the center. That primitive brain is in control of our metabolism, and it's very influenced by cortisol. So if we aren't burning off cortisol with our exercise, then it's just growing and it's perpetuating our chronic diseases. So when you exercise to 90% and then down, your body feels like it won the fight, and it can stop producing the cortisol. So 15 minutes is all you need. So we don't have to suit up and go to the gym I love the gym, but yet you don't have to go for 2 hours. And you don't have to create something just like we did right here. You can do those workouts alternate. Because we have to get people out of, I love this slide, it's a new one for me, found this, the comfort zone. The area of false wellness, where people aren't actively sick. Maybe they just have the common stuff, right? Everybody has headaches every day. Everybody has allergies. Everybody has high cholesterol and blood pressure problems, right? It's not everybody. It's common. It's not normal. And we stay in this false zone where we're not actively influenced by this definition of health. Optimal physical, mental, and social well-being, not the absence of disease or infirmity. That's the definition of health. So we have to be working towards 100%, because let me ask you a question. If your body's functioning at 100%, how much room is there for disease? None. So we have to opt out of that system that wants you to be apathetic so that they can bankrupt you in taking away your health and your money. So we want to be opting out by doing these activities daily and thinking about exercising, good nutrition, and detoxifying our homes and moving ourselves back towards 100%. And everything that you've heard tonight contributes to that. And the more that you do, the more you can hand down a legacy to your children. This is how you avoid. It used to run in our family, but it doesn't run in our family anymore. Diabetes, heart disease, and cancer doesn't run in our family anymore. Old age runs in our family. Right? Which legacy do you want to hand down? So when we opt into this other system called the 5 Essentials, folks, only 6% of the United States population uses chiropractic care on a regular basis. And we are the most popular alternative form, and they call it alternative medicine, when in all reality, we are an alternative to medicine, not alternative medicine. But only 6%, so 94% of the population is missing the nervous system component of health. Because as it relates to metabolism, your nervous system is the thermostat. I asked you earlier, how many of you have done everything and you did it right and then either didn't really lose much weight, or as soon as you quit one little thing, boom, it all came back. Well, that's your nervous system controlling and coordinating every hormone of your body, every organ of your body, and it's set to a specific level. And let's say that you're at 68 degrees in your house, but you want to sleep at 70. You add heaters, you do different things, you heat up that one room, but as soon as something happens, boom, right back to 68 degrees. Now you're too cold. That's the thermostatic effect. So your nervous system is this brain-body connection, and unless it is at its optimum, that's your internet. And so if your internet is being compromised by misalignments of your spine, putting pressure on the nerves, if those nerves go to your thyroid, there's no way. You can take all the thyroid hormone, you can exercise, it's not going to change it. The nerves to your thyroid are not telling it how to function with the rest of your body. If that's to your adrenal glands, we all know that's where energy comes from, right? So if you're subluxated in that area, no way your metabolism can work well. But that goes for every organ and tissue in your body. And our bodies can compensate. Our bodies are amazing creations. And they're amazing at what they can withstand. But the only way to know if you are 100% subluxation free is to have some x-rays done and to have an exam to find out if your nervous system is compromised. So for a lot of people, and for all of you who already are patients, it's your family members at home that aren't. For those of you that are guests, your first step in getting back to optimum health is to find out if your nervous system is compromised. So we want everybody to know as much as we can about how the system works. So the first visit's usually somewhere around $200, but tonight, if you sign up for a new patient appointment, it's $60. That covers your exam, the consultation where we go over your history, and then any necessary x-rays. So it doesn't matter if we have to take 8 x-rays. We'll take those x-rays and make sure that you understand what's going on with your spine and your nervous system. The second visit is where you come back and we talk about what's gone on with those x-rays, how that's affecting your health, and then get you adjusted. After that adjustment, we measure, literally your spine changes that day with that adjustment. We measure that change to know how often you need to be here to try to fix things. And then the last visit is free. That third visit is when you come back and we sit down and go over that, show you your x-rays, and tell you exactly what the best case scenario would be for you to correct the nervous system and find that integral piece. Just like with Emily. These are the things, I bet 2 hip replacements and 4 back surgeries, she wished she'd have met me then. How many people are sitting at home with problems that they don't find hope for? It's just another pill. Or we're gonna wait till it gets so bad we gotta have a surgery. See, everybody deserves to know what's going on the inside and how healthy their nervous system is. So those are the action steps for people. The 30-day challenge is the protein shakes. So if you're going to be on that 30-day challenge, you want to go ahead and get the bundle with the shakes and the Max Fit and the cell repair so that we get the most out of the next 30 days. We're going to be on that advanced plan where we're not eating sugar, we're eating only Granny Smith apples, sour grapefruit, and lemons, limes, and berries. 5 workouts for the week. Remember, they only need to be about 15 minutes long. Your chiropractic schedule, whether you're on corrective care or maintenance care, no alcohol or cheat meals for 30 days, and then 10 pages of reading. Folks, that's the 30-day challenge. I guarantee you that you're committing only to you. What do you want for your life? What do you want your future to be? Go to that level. The doctor of the future will give no medicine. But will interest the patients in care of the human frame, diet, and in the cause and prevention of disease. Thomas Edison, pretty smart guy. Well, the fact is you're sitting in the future. You're here. The time's now. It's up to you to take hold of that and decide whether this is your mission. Are you going to save and change your own life, your family's life, and change that family legacy? I hope so. I hope you've learned something and are inspired to make the change. Thanks for coming, and God bless you. Oh, wait, hold on. If anybody would like to win out of those raffle tickets, I
have a beauty counter sign up for anybody who wants to talk to Megan.
Yes, by the way, not everybody can be the first in line. So after this raffle,